Yeah, lekker Chris. How you doing, man?
Good on you, my friend.
Good.
What
How's
are
your
we
day
talking
been so
about?
far?
Uh, okay. The day so far has been me mostly spending time in my hotel room because I'm fragile after watching the rugby last night, was an amazing game. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and we're both in Cape Town, and it's been good. I'm still on a high from last night, so I'm feeling amped,
Mm.
feeling good, amped to talk a bit of cock with you. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear. I can beep that out. I'll try not to swear.
No, you can. You can. No, not to worry. So, I mean, I've met you around Cape Town and at Van Hans. I think you took some. You were taking some cool pictures of the nightlife at Van Hans, I think, and you took a really good picture of me. And yeah,
Yeah.
then we've kind of connected since then. And I thought it'd be good to chat to you because about what you do. I mean, you kind of have been quite vocal about the fact that you are an artist and a struggling one, it seems, by that at the moment. So tell us a little bit about that, about your what you do, what you're trying to achieve, where you've gotten to, where you haven't gotten to.
Yeah, I suppose I'm the cliche struggling artist, and I'm always thinking, what am I doing wrong? Where's the money, man? But I'm an artist first and foremost. I mean, that's just how I think. I think out of the box, and I come up with new stuff all the time. Ideas. My mind works like that. So,
Mm.
but being like that, I also do a lot of entrepreneurial stuff. But so far, I haven't been able to connect to the money side to get to the market. I employ my creativity. Like this is one of my t-shirts, and I like the edgy stuff and this type of humor. This is what I do, and I
Mm.
believe there's a market for everything. And like the same thing, I do a lot of things. First of all, my main thing is probably now at the moment is I've got a few photography projects. I'm into street photography and
Okay.
documentary photography. And Van House is one
Yeah.
of my projects. For me, it is like because I think it's my way to try and understand what this human animal is all about. So I like to document life, and I like to
Yeah.
hang out and speak to everybody, and to hang out with authentic people. And that's what I love about Van House. There's so many authentic people there, and you can meet any person there from all walks of life. And that's why I thought, okay, let's document this because it's all kinds of people just having a good time in this spot with their different histories. And I think in a few years' time, it will start having value. If you look back and
Right.
that
Yeah.
night with Springbok played, and there is this guy, and what's happened to him now? He's now famous movie producer in Hollywood, or this guy is homeless in a car, or like I'm about to go, whatever. And it's just
Mm.
documenting that is one of my things. But with that, I have to be entrepreneurial as well, and I have been entrepreneurial, developing a lot of products. I've got a sauce, which is my sauce. I've got
Okay.
T-shirts. I've got this new game, which is like also my type of humor, which is called Booth. It's a card game that works with dice. I've sold two so
Okay.
far, and
Where do you
this
sell
is
them,
printing
for
them.
interest sake? I mean, where do you sell the card game?
I wear it around my neck, and if people, I haven't like really marketed yet. I came
Yeah.
up with this
Yeah.
idea. I was walking around with my phone, and I thought about this game came to my head. So I made the rules up on my phone, and then I just developed it
Okay.
more and more and played it a couple of times until it's worked out. Now it's worked out, and it's a fun game, you know.
Okay.
And it's a joke, It's puss.
Mm.
It's not a serious thing. It's a drinking game as well. But this is one of
Mm.
many things I do, and for me, it's like easy to develop stuff. I love doing that. I love
Right.
this. The design myself. I create the game. I create the source. I do all the graphic design, and then there I kind of get stuck to find my way to
Yeah.
the market.
Well, I
Yeah.
think I think with any business, my view is, and I don't know what if you've sort of tried to interrogate why you maybe feel you haven't gotten that far with certain of your projects. I mean, I think the one thing is distribution. Like, how are you going to most effectively distribute your product? Obviously, marketing comes into that as well, but you need to create a distribution. And some people have the view that that's you know through a smaller community sometimes of people, like like marketing to a tribe. Sometimes it's mass marketing and mass distribution, but I think that's the one difficult thing. And then I think sometimes, and like I said, give me your view on this. It's also sometimes very difficult to monetize certain things, especially in the creative space. Like
Yeah.
how do you monetize that best? How do you, by putting an idea out or thinking of something, how do you get remunerated by that? Because sometimes other people run with your ideas, and not with you. So, I mean, I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I'm waiting for people like you to tell me do this and this and this. You're doing this wrong. So I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I'm always I'm thinking like after all these years doing so many people that know me well knows I've done so many things and I'm constantly doing new things all the time.
Yeah.
It's probably one
Yeah.
of the problems I should specialize more. But and I think to myself, what are you doing wrong? And when is somebody going to tell me do this and this and this? But it seems like there's no set rules. It's like I suppose anything in life. It's like especially if you're not. What I do is pretty much out of the box. I don't do the normal thing. I do edgy stuff
Mm.
that's out of the box. Not like I'm selling kettles, electric kettles. You know, I come up with
Mm.
ideas and I sell content. So I think that's a bit more vague what you should do. But I'm happy for anybody to give me advice and say try this, do it like this. This is might
Mm.
be what you're doing wrong. But I thought
Mm.
this is where I will ask you now. I think maybe there is people out there that are really good at selling stuff, and I should connect with people like that. Let them do the selling stuff. I'm good at
Mm.
coming up with concepts. So I think maybe
Ideas.
it's a
Yeah.
thing of specialization as well, with my people working together and you specialize what you are good in. So I'm waiting for a person that says, I'll run with your ideas. I don't have that many ideas,
Mm.
but I'm good at one. So
Mm.
what would your advice be to me, like a guy like me? Mm.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. What I have also found is, talking to people as well about business stuff is that sometimes it's a matter of pure luck as well, hey? In terms of, but you need to, I think what you need to be clear on is I think you need to at some point pick something that you want to expand on. Like for me, I think at this point in time, I'm a qualified lawyer, I'm a qualified financial advisor, I've done many different things, entrepreneurial things as well. And I think one of the things that I'm kind of keen on is, as I said, the focus at the moment is this podcast because I enjoy doing it. I
Yeah.
enjoy talking to people as well, and the hope would be at some point that you get a kind of a sponsor for it, or somebody gets interested in it. But in terms of your situation, what's the main thing you would want to do in the next sort of year to 2 years? Like what's your out of the because you've obviously come up with ideas. You said you're doing you're doing the photography projects, and you say you're a filmmaker. So and then you obviously do music as well, I think. I would ask you what if you had to pick like one thing and one of those things, what would that be? That you would want
I
to
don't
focus
know
on.
exactly. I know exactly what the one thing I think I should be doing. That I think I'm the best in it. Although I only did it once, really.
Okay.
But immediately the first time I did this, it just fit for me. I know this is me. I should do this.
Mm.
But it's also the most difficult thing. I wrote, produced, and directed a short film like 2 years ago. 40-minute
Okay.
film, with, no budget, of non-actors mostly, with almost no equipment. But the first time I got on the set, in our little set, and I started directing, I thought, this is me, man. And since
Right.
then, I wrote a couple of scripts, and I send away proposals. Nobody gets back to me because I mean, I am basically I'm a nobody in film. But
Yeah.
if I could choose one thing, that would be. But it's hard. I mean, how do you make it a film? I've got scripts, I've got the proposals. Nobody's getting back to me, and how do you get money to make it? So I kind of gave up on that. I would
Yeah.
say music for me is more of a hobby. I'm more of like a campfire singer. I'm a glorified campfire singer in a bar now in a hotel. But I'm not an amazing fucking commercial. I come from a long line of non-singers, you know? The
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
non-singers. That's why I write songs and lyrics. I think I'm pretty okay with that. I like that. But
Yeah.
I'm never gonna make it as a big time music. I know that. But I think I
No,
can make
sure.
good movies. You know? And that's why I'm
Okay.
doing the small. I'm
The
doing now what I can
documentary,
at home.
yeah, on Sea Point.
Yeah, this is one of my promises. I have a mind that is really struggles to stick with one thing. I don't know. It's probably some condition I have. I don't know. But my mind goes like this. Then I want to do
Mm.
that. Then it just goes on. You know, it drives me a bit nuts. But the one thing I would do more and specialize in is besides the photography is the filmmaking, definitely. So I'm
Okay.
doing. I'm going to do like short documentaries and stuff about stuff that's accessible to me.
Yes.
That's not going to cost me money. And
Costs
so
money. Yeah.
the first thing I'm doing now is the one of the promenade because it's a very interesting culture along the Seapoint Promenade. Of you get the homeless people there, you get the super rich people there, and everybody in between. The same as Vernons. So that's my
Mm.
interest. So I can do documentaries I can do cheap. But now, I mean, how do you make money from that? I have no idea.
Mm.
You know?
Well, I mean, you do have a YouTube channel, right? So, I mean, I think the easiest way
Yeah.
to put out content these days, especially in the visual side, is obviously YouTube, which can monetize in itself, obviously. But I mean, that, apart from that, you can obviously have stuff up that, gains interest and maybe somebody kind of sees it. I think that's about the only thing you can do is just keep doing what you want to do and and and
There's a bit of a lag
and
on my
get
side,
better.
but I'm just going to wait for it to resolve.
Yeah,
Okay, we're back.
lacquer. Yeah, so I mean, I think your documentary, if filmmaking is something you definitely want to do, I think the documentary is definitely, or the shorter documentaries and putting them out on YouTube is about all that you can do, I think, unless you have backers and unless you have funding.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I'm going to focus on now for a while. Like I said, I'm actually going homeless. I'm staying
Yeah.
in a hotel room.
Okay.
And I this hotel room, I met the GM of a hotel randomly at a place, and we just connected well, and we talked about art and projects and stuff. And he gave me this chance to stay in this hotel room. I'm here for 2 months now. I'm living in the hotel room, and I'm doing 2, sometimes 3 gigs in the bar, and I get my
Okay.
breakfast. So even if I don't have any money, I have one meal, and I have a place to
Mm.
sleep. But that's running out. I have a contract. I have to do like 40 shows.
Okay.
Uh, After that, so I'm in this crisis again. This is not the first time in my life this has happened.
Mm.
What the fuck am I going to do now?
Mm.
And like you said, I need to and I decided, well, what can I do? What am I good at? And I'm going to do a lot more work on my YouTube channel and a lot more productions.
Yeah.
And I do have actually a little corner shop in the hotel, which is very
Okay.
on and off. So
Are you allowed
nothing
to
sells
mention
in
the
the.
hotel?
Um, I suppose I could. It's on Green Market Square. Um,
Okay.
But you know how corporate people are. I'm swearing on this podcast and stuff. Probably might not be very good for the image. Anyway, but it's too late now. So I also have this opportunity where I'm learning retail now, which is a new thing for me, which is good. It's a lesson. All these things you learn, right? So I've got
Yeah.
this little shop in the corner where I have a few things, and I'm seeing what sells, what doesn't sell. Every now and then I sell a T-shirt, but it's slow. It's just dripping in. And I had my first big sale actually 2 days ago. Relatively big sales of John Bell ceramics I stock here, but
Okay.
they charge it. They charge it to my. It's not a big sale for me. It's big. It's like almost 3 grand of ceramics.
Okay.
Obviously, I just make a part of that, and I charge it to my room, so I don't have the cash, but I can order room service, which is fucking nuts. But so then it gave me a bit of confidence and hope that yeah, I can sell stuff, man. You know, you just have to
Yeah.
be patient. Retail is to be a weird game. It's like nothing, and then
Yeah.
suddenly there's something, and then there's nothing again. And
Yeah.
somebody explained it to me, John Bauer, actually. I told him, hey, John, we finally sold some of your tiles. And he said, I told him, retail is weird, man. He said, yeah, it's like doing a tango of a cobra. You know? I don't know what
Yeah.
that means, but it's like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You don't
So
know which way the cobra is going to go.
I don't know.
When it's going to go.
so,
When it's going to bite.
so, so I'm continuing with that as well. I want to do, well, the plan for me is I have this, by the way, anybody watching this, I have this campaign to move into a car in a station
Yeah.
wagon. And then I can also have a lot of merch I developed, and I can go to markets and get cash, I can eat, and I can sleep in the car for now. I'm fine with sleeping in the car for now until I'm on my feet. So you can
Mm.
support my
That's a buddy, yeah.
fund, my
We'll put the
automatic
we'll put
campaign.
the link we'll put the link on at the bottom once we upload the episode so that people
Cool.
can and they can a link to your YouTube channel as well and then a link to your backer buddy and I'm sure they can find it.
Yeah, so I'm just talking a lot. So if you want to interrupt me, just tell me because I'm
No,
just
but
blabbing now.
no, you must
So
carry on.
that's what we do, right? That's a
Mm.
podcast. So I've got this campaign, which is like I had a big struggle to start this campaign because I feel like I'm official begging now, which is terrible. It's a
Right.
terrible feeling. There's no other option, and this is just for me that I don't live on the streets because the streets make you hard. You know, I
Yeah.
have lived in the street one or two nights before. The first time I went homeless, that's another
Okay.
story. When I started my
Yeah.
YouTube channel, I decided to become
Yeah.
a travel blogger instead of calling myself homeless. But the thing
Yeah.
is, if you
Yeah.
go into when you start spending like evenings in Cape Town on the streets, and you get that type of depression, it's very hard to return from that. It makes you hard. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to avoid that.
It's a spiral at that point where you might not actually get out of it. potentially.
Yeah, because you're forced to become so hard because you're in the total fighting position all the time, and you have to cut off
Yeah.
your emotions, otherwise you just die of sadness. Seriously. So
Yeah.
and then you get locked in a
Mm.
way, and I'm trying to avoid that. So the Back a Buddy campaign, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I accept my life the way it is. I don't expect anybody to feel sorry for me, but I would like not to go in the street and just live in a car. That's for me. That's fine. You know, I
Mm.
can wake up next to a beach and make a coffee, and I'll still be okay mentally. But
Yeah.
once you start living on the street, it's downhill down quick. You know, can I tell you the story? The other
Yeah. Tell
day,
me a story.
I saw this woman. There's a lot of people going homeless now because times are tough. Economic times are tough. And I saw
Yeah.
this newbie homeless person. It's a woman of my age, and I just saw her carrying a lot of bags. And you can see she just the first time she is kind of homeless. She just went homeless, and I came out. I stepped out of the minibus taxi from Seapoint. I was busy there, and I saw this woman knocking her head against the wall like this, and crying
Sure.
and swearing. And it was a horrible thing. And I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do because I can't help her. And I just walked up there and said, "Are you okay?" And she just walked on and she was crying. And she was just, for the first time, kind of homeless in the streets. Can't stop
Yeah.
carrying her stuff. And she still looked like a non homeless person. She still had that emotion. She still knocked her head against the wall and she cried. But in 6 months
Mm.
from now, she will have none emotion. She will be like a ghost.
Right.
And that is terrible. Terrible.
Do you know this from speaking to homeless people, or because your experience wasn't necessarily long as being homeless, or did you spend a lot of time homeless?
Listen, technically, I was homeless for like 3, 4 years. I didn't have a home.
Okay.
But I
Sure.
decided I'm just going to hitchhike and take what camera I have. At that time, just 2 blocks. I lost most of my blocks. I had 200 blocks. I went up Africa, just hitchhike. I stayed at places. I made every now and then I made a video for a lodge in Malawi. Then I would stay there and get some food. More or less the same as
Yeah.
now, working for money but living.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was homeless, but I wasn't like on the streets. I decided if I'm ever homeless, I won't stay in the city because the city kills you.
It's
I'd
yeah.
rather go
It's worse here.
sleep on a beach next to a West Coast town somewhere because people there
Mm.
still have hearts. People in the city don't give a shit for homeless people
Mm.
because it is too many. They feel nothing. So yeah, you will just become hard. But because I'm a street photographer and a documentary photographer, I'm totally anti-classist. I'm not in the There's assholes and there's people that are not assholes and people that are sometimes assholes. I'm sometimes an asshole. But I kind of hang out with everybody, right? So
Right.
I hang out with homeless people. I will hang out with ministers of parliament if they would invite me over for a beer. I don't care. For me, it's like I love to connect with people and have conversations. So I would walk into a Sabine. I learned this when I traveled as well. I will go into a
Mm.
small town. The first thing I will do, even though I was way back when it was still a weird thing to do for a whitey, I would go
Yeah.
to the Sabine and hang out, drink beers and some Alex and have conversations. That's my thing. I feed on
Mm.
that. I love it. So
Mm.
I understand the underground of society very well, very well. I've seen it. I've recorded it. I've documented it. I
Mm.
lived between the people. When I was in Mozambique when I hitchhiked through there with no money, I was walking near the streets. I spent like a whole day on a truck over a rough road. I was broken, mentally and physically broken. Well, for like 100 other people, I don't know, squished like this in the truck. The only white guy
Mm.
in the town got in the truck. It's not obviously, it's not a racist thing that I call it color. It's just the context. It
Mm.
was like an African small town in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't know, but there was that time in that part of northern Mozambique, there was actually still the war was still happening there. I didn't even know. I was naive. I just went in there.
What years was this?
And this was 2016, and there was an upflare of violence in northern Mozambique. So I
Okay.
just went in there. I didn't give a shit. I just go.
Mm.
And I had this afterwards. And then the point of the story is, it was a
Mm.
hard day, man. My hardest travel day ever. In the sun, on this truck, squishing with people, bumping over the road for hours and hours and hours. And then I got off with no money in this northern Mozambique town, which I forget the name now. There's a point to my story. And I was walking through the streets at night,
Mm.
nowhere to sleep. And I was just walking from place to place saying, well, how much do you charge for a bed? And it
Yeah.
was a seedy place. And I couldn't afford anything. And I was just giving up, and I was walking there. I said, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna sit in the garage now. I don't know what to do." And this guy walks into me. I just came from a church, just walked out of the church, and he starts talking to me. And I tell him, "Listen, man, do you know of a place where I can sleep? Maybe outside somewhere." He took me by the hand, not by the hand, but metaphorically. He
Mm.
bought me a little meal. Then he walked with me to look for more places. I couldn't afford anything. Then he said, "Brother, you can come and stay with me." And where we stayed was an old shack, a small shack behind a big building. This guy had no money.
Sure.
And he said, "Would you like to shower?" Sure. African shower. He prepared for me a bucket of water in there around the little structure. I showered. The room it was half the size of my room here, the hotel room. And he prepared a little hookie for me there. And I said, "Sleep there. I'll look after you." The next day, he took me to the minibus taxi because I was supposed to meet up with a wild, crazy bunch of people and up north. Uh, and that guy had nothing. He gave me accommodation. He gave me a meal. And so I understand that part of society. And I love that part of society because of the simple reason is if people gives you like something like that and they have nothing already, that is
Mm.
as real gets. Cape Town,
Yeah.
I find, especially the army crowd, and I'm very vocal about this, it's a lot of fake. There's a lot of fake in Cape Town. There's a lot of fake it till you make it and blah, blah, blah. I'm not into that shit because I've seen the other side of life. I understand realness. So
Yeah.
we had this conversation. I'm into being authentic, being real. And
Yeah.
then now I'm going to bring that to business. It will seem that there's a lot of fakery in business as well in the world.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all sell real. How do you sell real?
Mm.
Because everybody's used to selling the fake. Now you come with the real, and people don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. No, that is a thing. And I think we people definitely oversell their success as well in business. It's hard. Business is
Ooh,
hard. I mean, I don't, I'd say honestly, I haven't had a successful business yet. I'm probably pretty close to being, I mean, and I think there's a lot of people that are one or two paychecks away from also being in financial ruin of some sort. They
yeah.
might have nets that can carry them, like parents. Like, um, I don't know what is sort of your situation. I mean, I'm also playing devil's advocate here. Is like some people might be wondering, okay, well, Chris is an artist. He's doing stuff, but does he have family? Is there family he could stay with? So what's your sort of personal situation? Because I think that is one thing. I think, as I said, most people are actually a paycheck or two away from you know um, owing the money bank, and then the next thing is they're going to get liquid or sequestrated, and then but they have maybe some safety nets. What
Okay.
is your situation there?
This is a hard thing to talk about, the family thing. First of all, because I want to protect my family's privacy, obviously.
Sure.
Second of all,
Yeah.
there's a lot of judgment out there. Oh, this got these conditions because that's his connections with his family, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. You know.
No, got it.
Hard to talk- But I don't mind talking about it. But my thing is the family thing. I am not typical black sheep, I suppose. The family. Family is pretty tired of me. I'm supposed to have a real job, but I can't do a
Okay.
real job because I can't do it.
Yeah.
So they like pretty much like get over yourself. If you go homeless, it's your choice. Why the fuck?
Okay.
Listen, I've had a lot of help from my family, and I feel sorry for them because I feel like a loss. I have
Sure.
help, but I'm a big boy now. I don't owe me nothing. Nobody
Yeah.
owes me anything. It's my
Mm.
responsibility, and
Mm.
I've had a lot of help. But I mean, my family also. My parents are old,
Mm.
in their late 70s. I don't have a lot of connections with my brother and my sister. We don't see eye to eye at all. So I'm pretty on my own. That is the
Mm.
fact. And
Yeah.
but the other point we're talking about is the fakery about it. A lot of the same in the art world. People make themselves a lot bigger than they are because there's this perception or this stigma that you have to bullshit to make it. So people bullshit a lot,
Right.
like you say.
Mm.
Like you're honest. You say you never really had a successful business. And business is hard. It's a lot harder than people think.
Oh yeah.
People come,
Yeah.
so many people come to me in the corporate, they have wonderful salaries. They can fly to Cape Town for a weekend from wherever to come party and fly back, and they're depressed about their corporate career. And I tell them, don't romanticize my life. My life is way harder than you imagine. I'll give you 2 weeks of my life. You'll go running back to your salary. It is hard to make it. It's
Mm.
real hard.
I think, yeah. I mean, something's always it's a type of hard you choose, right? Which you can handle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, them being in a job which they may not really enjoy, but they're making the money, you know, is their hard.
Yeah.
Your hard is something different. You're doing your things that you love doing, that you enjoy doing, being a creative, but your hard is that you're not making the money that you need to make to actually survive. Um, and yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I've tried a lot of things myself. I think I've got a lot of theories about things, but I also definitely don't have the answers. And I think part of the podcast is maybe exploring some of those answers, and you know, maybe by having the conversation, something comes up. But um, I think, as I said, the one thing with regards to your situation is my thinking there is, yeah, I think get a focus, and I mean, I think you have gotten the focus at least for now. It doesn't mean you can't do any other stuff, but I think a focus is going to be good. And then I think with some of your other little things like your game and your t-shirts and your hot sauce and things like that, you know, maybe you need to you need to think about distribution. Like, you know, how could you get those things sold? And you did talk about selling as well. So maybe part of your backer buddy money shouldn't only go for a car, or you'd start another one is to maybe look at getting at least an online presence, you know, like an online store. But I mean, online is definitely not the only distribution channel. I think what you need to create is also, like, as I said, a community of people that will buy that because they like it, but also because they know you and they know your philosophy and they know your values and they know, you know, and those people will buy from you, or shops that will stock your stuff. You know, that could be something you could look into.
So I can talk about this because I've done all this. So
Yeah,
this is a
I'm sure you
value of
have.
it.
This is, yeah,
So let me talk about it. Let me explain.
yeah,
I have a website. I have a brand. The first time I went homeless for the first time homeless, which I was sitting there in a week's time, I'm not going to have a roof over my head. What am I
yeah.
going to do? It's crisis mode, right? Uh, I sold everything I had, and I bought I had my guitar and a backpack and a tent and all that. And the next day, when I was finally okay, I'm going homeless now. I went into an internet store and I googled to see the free wild world. I just came up with free wild world, right? And this is
Mm,
about branding. I think branding is important. And I googled it and it was available. And with the last money I registered freewildworld.com, which I think is a
okay.
great brand. And that became me. That became part of my persona. I am Free Wild World. If you Google
Mm,
Free Wild World, in the world, my website will come to the top. So I've
nice.
done the online. I've got all the products. I think I took off a lot of the merch because of my branding for certain reasons. I took this off because I was supposed to work with Canadians that I didn't like and we didn't get along. But anyway, so you can't, if you're in a corporate environment, this shit doesn't fly, right? So, so I've done online shopping, nothing really. Nobody has ever ordered one product from my website ever. So I
Yeah,
don't know what the
exactly.
fuck
Yeah.
is going on. I have sources here and there, and then you struggle 2 months to get 350 Rand from somebody for a couple of sources, and that is not the profit. The profit might be 60 Rand. And
Mm,
you spend like 200 Rand to get your 350 Rand, you make a loss just because chasing people down to get a little bit of money out of them. So it's tricky. It's not as easy as people think. You just got
mm.
a lot of products out there. And then there's other things.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
manufacturing. I'm staying in a hotel room now. I can't make sauce. The sauces are running
Mm.
out. I don't see a visual now. So this is all the things people must realize when they want to do small business. If you do it without backing, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not like you just have 1,000 bottles of sauce and you put them out in the shops. I don't find it to be that easy. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope people can comment and say, "Well, I got it right," and tell me how you got it
Mm.
right, please, because I haven't done it.
Yeah, let us know. I,
But I think
I,
I I do think perseverance is important. So I go
and
for like I think
consistency,
Indian.
like some consistency in terms of how you approach things. Um, at least you need to show consistency in the way you show up. I think definitely, and to keep doing what you want to do.
The other pro tip, I'm not a pro, but like you, I'm still think I'm at some point. Hopefully, we start making our stuff work. But what I realized is through the years is like there's something way more important than signing a contract. And that's your name.
Mm,
When I was young, I messed up my name because I was irresponsible, and that sticks with people. Uh, there's always
yeah.
you can get out of a contract, but if you fuck up your name, it's people don't forgive you. They just never forgive you. And
Mm,
if there are other guys out there starting out their careers or doing not working for a company and they want to do their own thing, take responsibility for the choices you make. And if you make your name bad in business, it's going to screw you real hard.
mm.
I don't know what you think about that.
No, I mean, I think it's a value, right? I mean,
Oh, we have another
that
freeze
would
from
be
my side.
it would be integrity, right? Like like you have integrity about the way you do business, I guess. So you need to be clear about the values that you have. Like authenticity
Uh,
is one of ours, I guess. Um, and yeah, integrity as well. Have integrity, and then obviously basic principles, like like you said, don't be an asshole, don't be a
it's
dick.
freezing up, but we'll get there now. Sure. It's a bit of a freeze.
Yeah,
We're back.
on your side,
Let's see.
you like that.
Yeah, cool. No, my side every now and then it's a bit of a freeze, but we're back now.
Yeah, sure, it'll be fine. But in terms of, I mean, what did you say? I mean, are some of your values that you really try and live by?
My main value is being authentic.
Yeah.
I refuse. I refuse the fact that you need to lie and bullshit to make it. I think there
Mm,
must be a way to make it just by being yourself and being. It's the whole true self thing is very philosophical because we all are changing every day, every second. You think that your mind is working so, but to be as close as possible to just being your authentic self and not to bullshit.
mm,
I think there's this thing like if you bullshit, you make it, and I'm sure it's true in many ways. But I
mm,
core value that I am just who I am. I am a vulnerable, messed up person, the same as anybody else. I don't pretend anything else. I make mistakes, huge mistakes, uh, and I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, and I'm
mm.
trying to be me because in the end of the day, and then we can be a bit more philosophical. The reason why I chose my life, coming back to the corporate thing, the reason why I can't do the corporate thing
Yeah.
is now I have this life, this one life. I don't know if there's anything after this. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not taking that chance. So I'm going to do what I want to do because I have this
Mm,
one shot. And a big
mm.
thing for me is, no matter how hard it goes, even if I go on the street again now, I can kind of sleep okay at night if I know I did my best and I was authentic. I didn't bullshit. I didn't
Yeah.
live a lie. For
Because
me,
that's something you can control, right? That's the
that's
only thing you can control.
yeah. Besides that, if you it'll just bother me if I like. Yeah, we just doing this podcast quickly on the fly. If I have to sit here and pretend shit, I mean, it's not going to work. This
Mm,
is me. This is Chris White. Um,
mm,
and when I was younger, more insecure, I pretended to be shit, and it backfires because in the end, people look through that stuff. So my
mm.
core value is be authentic in everything you do, business, art, podcast, whatever. Be authentic and be transparent. And be vulnerable.
Transparency.
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the world now, all the major rifts we have, uh, politics and the wars is terrible time. For me, there's two big. Like they say, like the microcosm and the macro and the microcosm that reflect each other, as above, so below. And there's two big value systems in the world that seems to be clashing. And the one is of kind of integrity, the system of integrity and control. So for
Mm,
me, that's why my brand is Free Wild World. I believe in individual freedom, and I believe that bad things happen if there's control and manipulation. I don't think it's good. I don't. I'm not a big fan of fascism, man. I'm a believer that
mm,
people that have their one life, they are allowed to live it in as much freedom and integrity as possible.
mm.
So for me, that goes with my values. So in
Yeah.
the end, to choose a side because bad shit happens. And I will always verge on the side of everybody's allowed to be creative and live a free life and as authentic as possible because that's their life. You're not allowed to take away anything from them. They're allowed to do that. So that's my core value. Support people, don't break them down, don't manipulate people. And that is the very interesting thing when it comes to the movie directing thing, which I think I should do. I personally think my spirit animal is some movie director thing. Not like, I don't know, whatever. So the first time I had this little short movie, this comes back to business as well, how you run people, how you work with people. Traditionally, I've worked as a chef in the kitchen for a short time on the businesses and sets extra or whatever. And you get assholes that are totally controlling and shouting and swearing at everybody. And then you think, okay, well, this is how it's supposed to be. And then you get another type of person, which is much more rare. Like a chef in the kitchen that says we're working together as a team. We're all going to work together. We're going to come up with recipes and we're going to try out stuff. And that's great. And the first time I made this little movie, I told, and some people disagreed with me and I said, no, it can't work like this. I said, we're going to work together as a team. There's going to be no toxicity here. Everybody's working for free. It's going to be a positive experience. I'm going to be the leader. I'm the director here. It's my movie. But I'm not going to be a doist. It doesn't have to be like that. We can work together as a team. And that then there's a form of magical thing in that. And I think in modern businesses, it's much more acceptable. I think the old school model is you had the boss, the minions. But I think the structure of the world is it's more like a teamwork thing, which I love. I think that's important.
Yeah. It's easier said than done again, I think, depends. To work because sometimes some people will say you're just paying lip service to saying we should work in a team. So you've got to also, I think you've got to be authentic again about how you act in that situation and that they believe you from your actions and the way that you are rather than from you saying, let's work together as a team.
Yeah,
and
of
if
course.
you can do that,
there's all that subtle manipulation. Like people will say something like that to get a certain type of result. But I think it doesn't have to be like that. You can just be real and open with each other, and you can still cuck in each other and fight because that will happen in any working environment. But you can resolve it in a way without being a big dick. Because let's talk about this. Well, what's the solution? Instead of saying, what is Trump's famous line? You're fired or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So there's this toxic working environments. Let's take Van Honks as a working environment. Those barmen are the best barmen I've ever seen, man, because they're motivated and they love working there and they love their jobs and they're great with the people around there because I think Chris, the owner, I'm sure they have always their trouble like everybody else.
Issues, yeah. Everyone has issues.
It seems to be a healthy environment, and I think that's why people go there and they feel happy there because the environment is nice. You can step into a place in the business and the environment is not healthy, and you will pick up on it. We have senses, We came from cave people that ran away from the wild animals that wanted to kill us, so we have spidey senses, and you pick up on that shit.
Yeah. But that's what I say. I think if you are actually being authentic and are true and have integrity about the way that you live your life, people will pick up on that. So when someone that has that type of integrity and is really doing that in their own life, if they say let's work together as a team, their actions and just the way that they generally talk and the way that they will resolve conflict as well will show whether that's who they are or not, and compared to someone that's just saying it and is actually trying to manipulate or still control the situation too much.
Can I bring it full circle quickly? So my story about the homeless guy in Mozambique giving me accommodation, that made stuff kick my mind. It happened in Transkei. When I was young and stupid, I hiked to Transkei with a kitty in my hand and nothing. Like believing that the universe would just look after me. Stupid. But I also lived in people's shacks and they fed me with the food I had. And it comes back to the so-called corporate environment. That's where I learned. This inequality bullshit it's a scam. That's what I say. If I say teamwork, I mean teamwork. I will still cock on you. If I am the director or I'm the boss in this position, I'm still the boss. But primarily that is not my working method. It's there's a goal. Like if you play in a band and every guy just plays what he wants, the song is cocked. But if
Mm.
you play, you also we need to make a good song. Let's play for the song. Then it's a different thing. It's a different mindset. So, like I said, I'm sure a lot of people do play lip service and say just teamwork, teamwork. Oh, and have employee of the month and that. But it's also just a corporate trick. That's also just a corporate trick. But I actually truly believe what I'm saying. I believe in
Mm.
that, like we all humans in a sense that we all have a right to live and we all have a right to respect. Until you don't deserve a right anymore to have respect. But so anything in project you do, if I work in a project with people, I want to have that non-toxic environment. And I think that is, for me, that's the only way to go. And it's not because I have to bullshit and motivate people. Maybe that's why I'm not a success, because I don't bullshit enough. But anyway, you know what
Mm. I hear you.
so also, I truly believe in those things because I've experienced the things I've experienced, which very few people have experienced. You know, so
Mm.
it's ingrained in my genetic code. The other sad thing is people project their inauthenticity in other people. So I think a lot of people look at me and says that guy must be bullshit. He can't be that real because you know what I'm saying. People
Mm.
project their stuff on other people, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
happens a lot. You know,
Yeah.
uh, but uh, but you know, I think people that see this podcast say, hopefully see this is just me, man. You know, but a lot of people think, well, they will ironically think, oh, this guy must be bullshitting. He must have an angle, you know,
Mm.
because that's how the world is. You know? I'm
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Or they might say, this
No, for
guy's just
sure.
fucking nuts. You know?
But I mean, maybe that's also the purpose, right? As you said, there's this inequality thing, and the way things are is, it's just the way it's been set. I think um, what we can control in our lives is being ourselves as best as possible, learn the lessons that we've learned to become just really authentic and truthful people, right? But from there on, maybe things then start moving. But I mean, there's most of the stuff, success. If people are going to buy your products, if people are going to book you for a show, if people are going to fund your movie, most of that stuff's out of your control, man.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing you can do is just, you know, work on yourself and be a better person and carry on doing the things you love doing. Um,
Now, the thing is, it's like you have to get up, but I realize, I mean, you have to try in the mornings and you get up and say, man, I'm going to try my best today. I mean, it's terrible when
mm,
you just want to stay, I don't want to get up. It doesn't matter how hard it is, just say, I'm going to do my best today, and then maybe today. But
mm,
the other thing about inequality, I think people misunderstand the inequality. That's one of my core values is, you know, the old cliche that we're all going to die and that makes us equal. There is a lot of truth in that.
okay.
Uh,
Well,
um,
that's the only certainty, right? We're all
yeah,
going to die one day. It's just a matter of
like
when.
people immediately equate the word inequality with materialism.
Okay.
But that's kind of stupid because the material universe is actually really just a small part of the bigger universe. We
Mm,
have emotion. We
mm,
have skin colors and races and looks, and some people are fat, some people are thin, some people are good at different stuff. So
mm,
if you take all that into account, actually everybody is going to be equal. You know? So just to what as a Western mindset, we have this thing that inequality is all about this guy's got two houses and three cars, so he's there, and that guy's in the street, so
mm,
he's there. But it's just not that simple.
yeah,
Equality is also how you treat people. If I walk
mm,
into Van Angst bar, I speak to the barman as the guy that might be a movie producer somewhere. It's the same as people. You know, the guy, this guy can be a dick, but he could be a multimillionaire. And the cleaner lady is wonderful. She's such a
mm,
pleasant person. So where's that equality equation? You know what I'm saying? So it's not that
yeah.
simple because a
It's
lot of
not.
people look down on if you're just materially orientated. I will be the scum of the earth for a lot of people. I'm a washed up artist that doesn't make any money, but I'm not.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you definitely have
So
value to add as a human being, just being on the Sea Point Promenade
what else are
talking
we
to
talking
people.
about?
talking to me. It's no one can say that doesn't have value, in my view.
Sorry, I lost you a little bit there. It went a bit of a blank here. What value?
No, I said,
I just lost the
yeah,
whole conversation there.
yeah, I mean, no, it's fine. As I said, I don't think anyone can argue that just a human interaction has value between two people like this now. You know,
Exactly.
talking just generally about stuff. So what I wanted to ask you as well, like, so say you were in a position where at least are surviving a little bit better, able to do the things you want to do on a daily basis as an artist and not worry too much about money, not necessarily being rich or anything like that, but just being a bit more stable. What are the things that you would do as sort of hobbies? Because I'm assuming that in my view, sometimes hobbies and things become something you don't do, especially when you're in a situation where you're not making the money you need to make or able to survive. Hobbies become something a little bit distant. But other than, what does Chris do for a hobby? I mean, a lot of what you do sounds like great hobbies already, but is there anything else we haven't talked about that you like to do or would do?
I tell you what, I'm so busy. For a guy that's making no money, I'm so busy because everything I do, I love. One of my
Mm.
photography projects is walking up the street a lot. It's called. I have many different little. I've got so many projects going on, and one of my street photography projects is a collection of images that's called "This Is Long Street."
Mm.
So my hobby is to walk up Long Street and take photos at 3 o'clock in the morning of pimps and prostitutes. So the only other
That's a good one.
I'm so I love the shit I do. I love making
Yeah.
this Seapoint documentary. I don't have time for other shit. I love making a
Mm.
painting, although I'm shit at painting, but I'll be better at some point. So if I had money, I'll buy more paint and bigger canvases, and I'll go sit next to the sea and make bigger paintings. My
Mm.
main hobbies will be wine. I'll drink better wine, and I'll buy scalp chops. I suppose that's the only other thing I'll do. And it's something I really would like to do still before I'm too old. Is I would love to see India, and
Okay.
I would love to dive. I'd love to. I dived once when I was in my homeless phase in Malawi. I had an opportunity to dive in Lake Malawi with
Okay.
models, and
Yes.
that was a mind. It just fit, I did parachuting when I was young, and I didn't like this. That was a bit of freak out, and it's like a couple of seconds of freaking out, and then you land. You run and you're fucking on the ground.
Yeah.
But this diving thing, man, that's the only thing I would still would like to dive more. If I
What
had a
about
bit of extra cash.
what about free diving in Cape Town waters, like snorkeling, doing a bit of free diving?
Yeah, somebody told me about this, and but you need money. I mean, you need gear. I would love to do free
Yeah,
diving.
yeah, free diving. Obviously, you need much less gear, so but obviously a little bit different. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm coming from pop sock to pop sock, so so I can buy any gear.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But if
Uh,
things pick up, you'll see me doing something like that.
yeah, cool.
But for now, it's
So,
R100 free pop socks. And they criticize us, oh, that guy, oh, shit. Keep drinking.
yeah,
Coke. The wine is so terrible. I have to put in Coke. You know where I got this Coke?
yeah,
I have zero money at the moment because my money is tied up in the sale I had that was charged to my account. So I don't have any cash, zero. And
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
borrowed me a million. And so yesterday I was sitting there saying, shit, man, it's a Sunday, it's a rugby game. Wow, the hell am I going to afford? I need to get a bit tipsy at this. Is big rugby. But since I've been living in this hotel, this is also to do business, by the way.
Mm,
Every night, because I get a breakfast here, so almost every night I go buy a hamburger pie at the cafe here. And you know why I support that cafe amongst all the cafes? Because the people are cool, just nice
mm.
people,
Nice people.
and
Yeah.
it's the same price all over Cape Town. It's close, and the people they don't hassle me. And but over the years, and I think this is another thing to do about business, is relationships. The relationships are important.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
over the few
definitely.
months, I've been in that cafe every day buying either my Coke for my pop sock or my pie for dinner. You start forming a relationship inevitably. And that's another big point. If you want to do anything in life, is relationships. You know,
Mm.
And then I said, well, I have this cheap pop sock still left over. You can't drink this without Coke because it's horrible wine. So I just thought to myself, why don't you just ask the guy if you can get a Coke until tomorrow? I said, that's a bit, I don't know the guy. I just walked in and said, listen, guy, he knows me, man. I always Coke or a pie. I just said, you mind if I have a Coke and I'll pay you tomorrow? And he was a little bit shocked. I said, what? I said, yeah, man, you know, I'm here every day. So that reminds me, I have to go pay this Coke now. Anyway, and he said, Wesley, yeah, sure. And that tells you something about there was no contract signed, you just trust. And I think that's a big part of anything you do is trust. There has to be
Yeah.
trust. No. Oh,
Yeah, lekker man. Chris, it's been good chatting to you. But yeah, I think that's an important one in business, trust and relationships.
yeah. I think that might be the most important thing. I don't know. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's all we can
we're all
do.
people. Well,
Exactly.
and you will get every now and then you will get someone that will take you for a pee because you're not all seeing. You think you're wise up in the street wise, and then some kind of guy is still going to take you for a pee, you know. But I think in the end, the money is that thing that has to flow. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm totally broke. But theoretically, I mean, money is a kind of a language, right? So it needs to
Yeah.
flow between people, and I think that goes
Yeah.
with trust and relationship. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to be less of a doers. I think being less of a doers is also part of doing better business, man. So,
Yeah. Could be.
you guys
Cool,
come to
man.
the
Have a good one. Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Ciao. Cheers.
Cheers.